Hello and welcome to USTS, the Ultimate Sports Training Show. I'll be your host for today's show, Bob Lemire. What I'd like to do on today's show, I'm going to go solo. It's going to be a half-hour show. And what I'd like to do today is go over sports, young kids in sports, not just young, but anyone in sports. Some of the things that you want to do for motivation, to get the passion, to be able to adapt to the situations. Before I do, before I start that, I just a little about myself, if you don't know. I'm a ninth degree grandmaster in Taekwondo. I've been training for around 50 years now, and thousands of students. Never mind the Taekwondo shows that we've had on the PATV, DATV. Now it's on YouTube. Thousands of people have watched. So over the years, I trained under Grandmaster Mu Young Lee, and any grandmaster in this world in Taekwondo has heard of Mu Young Lee or knows who he is. Probably the greatest grandmaster in Taekwondo that I've ever seen, and I know he was because he was my instructor. But believe me, grandmasters around the world, and especially in South Korea, they know how great this man. He's a 10th degree. He died a few years ago, God rest his soul, but he taught me a lot. And any of the teachings that I teach my students, they were from him, and I love the man dearly. And what happens is especially when children come into the school, I tell the parents, let's have a couple of they want their child that he needs martial arts. He needs to defend himself, which is true. But a lot of times they'll bring him in. I've had them come in at 4 years old, 3 years old. It's a little too early, too young for my blood. You'd have to be a real mature 6 or 7 year old, but you don't want to start them too young, unless they're almost getting private lessons, because they're probably going to get bored out of it. I have a 6-year-old grandson. Tried to have him on my show a while back when he was 4, just to prove I could do a half-hour show. You probably have to see it if you Google Taekwondo Grandmaster Bob Lemire on YouTube. I have all my old shows. You'd see him, and we did. I could only do 15 minutes, and then he fell on the floor and said, "I'm done." And I shelved it for a couple of years, and I pulled it out about 4 or 5 months ago, and it was just funny because I tried my hardest to get him to finish the show for a half hour, but 15 minutes was enough. So you have to think of that when you want to bring your child to martial arts, or you want to get them to any sport. Think of their age. Think of how can they get hurt. All right, how much, and don't put pressure on the kids. They want to have fun. And unless the schools have special classes for children where they can run around a lot, do jumps and do this and that, that's a whole different world. But if not, I would wait till about 6 or 7 for most of your children in the martial arts. But there are other sports, and my thing is, when I say motivation and passion for a sport, whether you're 5 years old or 55 or 95, if you want to start any sport, you want to make sure you have a passion for it. And because if you don't have a passion for anything, you're not going to be motivated to really practice. You can have fun, but it's like anything else. If you want to try to get good at stuff and you want to really take the advantage of it, you have to have a passion that you really want to do it. And there's a million things to do. It doesn't have to be just sports, music. It can be electronics. It could be just training, weightlifting, whatever you want to do. That's what you should do. And you try to find out, especially from your children, what do you want to do? And let them explore. Like if you go to a martial arts school, and I always say that to people, come to the school, try a free class, maybe 1 or 2. If it's not conducive to what you want to do, then don't. If it is, then let's give it a shot. Just to spend a lot of money on a long contract would be kind of foolish when you're not going to do it. So a lot of places have long contracts. We don't. A lot of places don't, because you can't commit with the way the society is today, right now, and money. Everything's tight. So try to find a school where you're not going to be committed for a year contract, whatever. Try to find a school that says, all right, let's go monthly or bi-monthly or 2 months or whatever, and then you can, that's something that you can live with. If your child, everyone wants their child to do something, whether it's sports or music or whatever, dancing, ballet, that's fine. Everyone wants the child to get into something, and you should have them try to get something that they like. So sometimes they don't know, but if you look and watch them and they constantly throwing a football or they constantly got a basketball in their hand, there's a sign there. Or if all of a sudden they're in front of the TV doing martial arts and, they make up kicks because they see it on TV, there's a sign there. If all of a sudden they like a musical instrument, what you do is you take that child and you sign them up, or you find a way that they can get some lessons. Now, the problem is, and I've seen it over the years, as I say, I've been teaching for 47 years or whatever, more, or I don't know. You lose track. A lot of times people push themselves too hard, and they push their children too hard. If your child says, I don't want to do it, then you're pushing him to a sport that he's not going to be passionate. There's going to be no motivation. All right, and that's how you can get hurt, and that's how you're wasting a lot of time. Find what your child likes. Find what your child likes. Once they have it, you have an idea. Try to make fun of it. Make some fun, especially. And I'm talking children that are young, 6 to 10. Their attention span is off the wall, as we all know. Right? So you try to do 15 to 20 minutes to a half hour in the beginning on anything that you're doing, and not push it to a point where they hate it because now it's time to do it. You want to make it as fun as you can for them. That's not always easy because you still want to get the fundamentals down. But what you want to do is say, and I'm going to take an example of a basketball, playing basketball. I don't have to use the martial arts all the time. You give a child a basketball, and every time he takes a shot and he misses, you not reprimand him, but you correct him. After a while, that correctness gets old, and that's in any sport. If you're doing a move or you're doing something, no, that's not right. No, you got to fix it. That's fine. Do it once or twice a session. Everything else, try to make a game out of it. And then when they make the shot or they make the move that you like, that you see is right, praise them. Say, that's how you do it. See, when your foot was there, not, oh no, you didn't do it right. No one wants to hear that. Even as an adult, you don't want to hear that. Especially when when you make a bad shot. If you're golfing and you're trying to teach someone golfing, and every time they take a shot, you're telling them what they did wrong. Boy, they're going to get bored quick. But if you give them a quick lesson, and then you keep your head down and all that happy stuff that you have to do for golfing, and let them play the game. Now, they're going to get some good shots. When they get a good shot once in a while, say, everything was perfect, And that's how you want to do it with children. 'Cause as I say, most children have a passion for something, all right? You got to find that. They're not looking for it. It just comes to them. So find their passion for them. All right, and then once they find the passion, don't rip it out of them. And if they decide that wasn't the passion, and you've already put some money into it or a year into it, so let them find another passion. All right, and once they find their passion, and the motivation's going to be there. You really want to, when you do sign up yourself, and I'm talking not just for children but for yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. Enjoy being healthy. Enjoy being able to move your muscles and stuff. Do your homework, especially if it's for yourself. If you have a coach and you sign your children up for a football, basketball, baseball, you sign them up, especially in the beginning. Watch the coach. Watch his attitude. If you have any doubts, pull your son or your daughter out. You want to make sure that they have coaches who understand, who have the patience, who are not going to yell, who are not going to have tantrums when you do wrong, especially, say, a sport like baseball. I've seen, way back, I've seen, especially my son playing ball a lot. He played a lot of baseball. I used to watch him. Good catcher, great baseball player. And he had a friend who was probably the greatest, and I played ball my whole life, baseball. This friend my son had was probably the greatest young baseball player I've ever seen in my life. He was one of the best pitchers for his age, and when he got up to bat, and this is no lie, he batted 600-700 batting average. I mean, he'd pop that out of the park, and other kids, he wasn't even close. The problem is his father was a coach, and his father would ride him. And I'd watch, and he'd ride him every move he made, every bad pitch he made. This kid was phenomenal. And if he didn't get a strike, he didn't do that. He drove the kid away from the sport, and I couldn't believe it. The kid would have went to high school and college, and God only knows he had potential. I think he quit before he even got out of high school. I'm not sure what happened. I lost contact with him. But he quit and just did whatever he wanted. Probably broke his father's heart because his father put all the time. But you can't ride. You can't ride your child. The worst thing. And I'm when I say you see it, everyone does see it. And if you're doing it, try to not do it. Praise the child. Now I know we have all kinds of thoughts. Oh, everyone shouldn't get a trophy. Everyone, you don't praise them unless listen. When you're young, all right, at my school for years, I'd have a big Christmas party. If I had 150 students or 100 students at the Christmas party, everyone who trained with me for that year got a trophy, a little trophy. But if you train, then that means you made it a year. You deserve a little recognition. Some people never got a trophy in their life, and this was the first trophy. And I'm talking grown-ups, too. And they'd come over to me and say, that's the first trophy I ever got in my life. And they're in their 30s. So I would say, wow. And they were so proud. Now, you can give bigger trophies for anyone who really excelled. That's fine. But everyone gets the praise. Do not hold off on the praise, even if you're with a friend, your wife, your husband. It doesn't only have to be kids. When you're trying to teach someone something, go through everything as they're doing it, especially if you're not a professional coach. Let a professional coach or a professional athlete, if you're paying them, let them, be the one to show them the right way. Some instructors, they love yelling. They like being tough, and I mean, you see it on the movie Karate Kid. It's like you get the good, and that's a great movie to use as an example, because Mr. Miyagi couldn't have been a nicer guy. He had him painting his fence and polishing his cars, and the other school, they was beating up on his students. You see that. You see anyone that's rough with the students and stuff. There's so many schools out there that you don't need that school. All right? Protect your child. Protect your child and protect yourself. If they're rough on you, all right, I'll go to another school. I'll find a Mr. Miyagi or someone who has patience. And when you do well, someone who will help you out. Okay? So that's that's something that you really want to, and I can't emphasize it more with your children. It's as I say, Grandmaster Lee. He taught me. He taught me my whole life. I was like 16, 17 going into the school, and inner city kid, and I would go to school all day. Then after school, very quickly, I'd have a job, after school job, and after that, I'd go train. And I found myself at the age of 17 doing nothing but school, work, and training. But the training, what happened is, it's not like now I'm not having fun. I met the greatest bunch of people, greatest guys in the world, and we had fun. And we'd laugh, and we grew up as brothers, and we to this day, we're 9th degrees, 8th, 7th degrees. We get together, have more laughs and fun. That's one thing you really want to make sure, and that's what sports is all about, the camaraderie that you have with your fellow with your fellow players, your fellow students, whatever you're going to be doing, or even if you're, playing a guitar or playing in a band, that camaraderie and the friendship is worth all the money in the world. All right, because you're all striving for the same goal, trying to get yourself better, working out, pushing each other. And that's what friendship's all about. So you will build, and anyone who's been in sports knows what I'm talking about. There's no such thing, no greater bond for friendship than playing, and it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. If you're with your friends. Now, when you're starting out, older people won't see this, but younger people, you have to watch out for cliques and bullies. You have to keep the eye out because, especially young kids, they won't tell you that they're getting the other kids are higher people in that field. And I don't want to say in Taekwondo, but or whatever school they're going to, whatever baseball, football, they can be picked on, especially if they're new, or if they're not in the shape that a lot of kids are. So you have to watch that because it can really affect a child if you're not paying attention. All right, and that's the parents' job. All right, is to pay attention on your child's surroundings. How is he acting after a workout or after playing football, and how is he being treated by the other kids? All right, so things like that matter, especially as they're growing up in life, because they won't want anything to do with any other sport or to deal with people because they've had bad experiences. All right, so it's just a couple of things. Myself, when I was younger, and I still do it now. If you're watching, I'm constantly moving. Even in my chair, I'm always swinging. I can't stop moving. And that's probably had like a attention deficit disorder when I was younger. I would say I did. The nuns would tell you that my parents that I kind of did. But they didn't have Ritalin, or there wasn't Ritalin out there, or I never got it. What would happen, though, is I'd move from thing to thing to passion, and I'd be playing all kinds of sports. It didn't matter as long as I keep moving. So, and I've taught many children with ADHD at the school, Taekwondo school, and boy, they're tough. When they come in, I'm not a psychiatrist, and they can come in, and when you have that, and you have this extra energy, and concentration problem. The problem is you disrupt everybody else. So it's a hard thing. But if you stay with these people and it's a lot of work, or they stay with these children, they excel. They will excel because their energy level is off the roof. Right? So what you do is you try to find out what they like. If they like multiple sports, and you get them going. They want to learn computer skills, or they want to learn guitar. Let them do it. The problem with that is the attention span only lasts so long. So let them multitask. All right. If you want to learn the guitar, you want to learn basketball, but after about 15 minutes, you can see that they're getting bored. All right, do something else right now. All right. So give them 15 minutes every day. But as they get better, all right, this is what happens is as you get better in your sport or your field, you'll start getting more motivation. All right, and passion for what you're doing. All right. The thing is now, when I was younger, you had 3 TV stations. If you're lucky, you got a sports once or a couple of times a week, and everything else was news or I don't know, whatever. But now, with our phones and computers, any sport, anything you want to watch is 1 second away with a flip of a finger, so you can watch and show your children or yourself if you want to get motivated and have the passion. Watch great people do what you feel like doing. All right, a guitarist. Watch a great guitarist. Watch a great band. That's going to motivate you. That's going to give you some little passion, and maybe want to get you out there to practice. All right, it's that passion that you need to instill in yourself or your children. If they don't want it, you can tell right away. Find the passion. There's a billion things out there we can do, and they say, like it would be like if your mother, and this is nothing against knitting, but your mother's the greatest knitter in the world, and she wants you to be a knitter just like her, to knit, whether you're a boy or a girl. And nothing wrong with knitting, but You want nothing to do with it, but she's going to push you. Now, imagine, you understand what I'm saying? And it's like any sport. I don't want to play basketball, the kid said. No, you're going to play basketball like your father. You're going to play football. You're a big kid. You're going to play football like your brothers. No, I'm not my brothers. I'm not my father. I want to go when I want to play the piano. All right? I want to take ballet. Then let him do it. Right? You'll be happy you did. You'll be proud, and they will excel if they're doing what they like. You know, and then there's you have to adapt. There's going to be problems no matter whatever you do. And I'm talking grown-ups now. All of a sudden, and I've seen it my whole life, and I've had more injuries and broken bones from Taekwondo. But you adapt, and you have to find other ways to keep in shape until you get yourself mended. Right, until you get yourself mended, whether you break a bone or you got sick. There's other methods you can do to keep moving, and don't let it go. Because you'll be happy if you can work through an injury. All right, and you train. I trained with cast on my leg, and it wasn't good because especially in the summer. You got a full cast all the way up to your knee, and you're sweating inside that cast. Now, after about a week of sweating inside your cast, and you can't watch your leg. There's a little odor, and I remember my wife telling me we can't sleep together until this cast comes off, because it's just a sweat. But I would train, and I would do everything I could except for my right leg, and then after it healed, I was still in shape. So you try to adapt to anything, and there's a million reasons why we don't want to train today, or we don't want to practice. There's a million reasons. You make them up as you go along, but you have to have a schedule. Try to get some kind of schedule, and even if it's 15 minutes, all right, it doesn't have to be the hour, 2 hours. If you're not feeling like really working out that day, train for 15 minutes, a stretch, or do what you have to do, so you keep yourself motivated. All right, because if not, then you one day turns into two turns into forever. If you Taekwondo Grandmaster Bob Lemire, YouTube, Google that on YouTube. You'll see all my shows, and I have this podcast, but when you Google that, you'll see the Taekwondo show I do. It's a half-hour show. I do it bi-weekly, and I've been doing that show for about over 30 years in the area. So it's like being in the classroom, Taekwondo classroom, but you can't afford it, you don't have the time, and you can do it in the privacy of your own home. Some people are shy. They want to do it, and that's the tough thing, too, especially with children. Some children are so shy. And that's the tough thing. So if that's the thing, then you train at home for a while until all of a sudden you notice people are giving you compliments. Your parents are giving you compliments, and wow, I feel like I'm pretty good now. That's what happens. Once you get that feeling that, oh, I'm not that bad at this. I think I'm pretty good. Then all of a sudden the confidence gets there, all right? Where you didn't have any confidence because you're walking in fresh. And when you're walking fresh in anything, like I say, football, basketball, any sport, Taekwondo, you walk into a classroom fresh, you're so intimidated because everyone's doing things that you say are going to be impossible in your life. That's not the case. It's just a matter of a little time, a little motivation on your part. I try to encourage people also, especially young people, and I wish I would have. I like to write now what's going on in my life, and even sometimes what's going on now, and what stories that I have over 50 years of martial arts with my crazy friends. And I call them crazy friends, and they're grandmasters, And I like to write on some of the experiences we have. That motivates you. Sometimes you read what you wrote and you say, wow, that's in my head, and it should be down, because there's a lot of funny stories out there. So if you can encourage yourself and encourage your children, write down what you're thinking, and you're going to be surprised what they're going to write down, and it can help you kind of judge where their next move could be also, all right? Because they'll be saying things and they'll be writing things, and just say, because I want you to do a little journal, and you tell them a journal when they get older. They'll read it, and they'll be so happy that they read their journal. or they wrote it, they can show that to their children. So they might get motivated to do stuff like that, And, they just had a great baseball game. Have them write it down. Write down what happened during a baseball game. I want to send it to somebody and show your great-grandmother, your grandmother, what you were thinking. And sometimes that gets them going on journals and stuff, and you get to see what your children are thinking. And even yourself, it's so hard. I started journals many years ago, and I got 100 of them around the house, and some of them only some little journals only have 5 or 6 pages on it. Then I put it away, forgot about it, and now I'm pulling them all out. And I've got a stack of journals, so I have to put them all together now because here's a new notebook. Look at this nice new notebook. I think I'll write a journal. It's fun because if you're thinking of all the good things in your life, you can write the negative things too. But if you write all the good things, you realize how lucky you are, especially if you have your health and you have a family and stuff. There's nothing more. We're not all rich, and we're not all superstars. We're not all doctors. A lot of us are just regular plain people trying to make it day by day. If you write down some of your good things and the experiences, you'll be so happy that it can motivate you. You say, wow, why don't I get back into this or that? All right. And as I say, music, dance, ballet, martial arts, boxing, there's so much out there. All right, now there's lacrosse and there's stickball with the girls and softball. I mean, years ago, they didn't have a lot of the sports that they do for the boys, and now the girls are just taking right over. Right, and they're just it's so much fun watching with the passion that all the girls in high schools and they all have. Gymnastics, cheerleading. I have a granddaughter, she's into cheerleading, and it's just unbelievable. It's her passion. And I watch her after, and everyone's, patting her on the back and hugging her. Nothing like that, all right? And that'll get them going. And not only will they have the passion for that sport, they'll get passion for some other stuff too. The same way, I'm good at this. I can be good at that. I can be good at anything you want, all right? If you can master one thing, all right, or you can have fun and enjoy one thing, there's other things out there. I'm going to try that. And like I say, with what we have for technology, you can have coaches on your phone, in your hand, talking to you as you're doing your moves. All right, you can zoom in on a computer or your TV and have coaches. So you don't have to go spend a lot of money. All right, for your child, or you don't have to have a coach for your child if you don't want. It's on YouTube, or it's on any Google anything you want, and you'll have good coaching. You can tell a good coach, and you can look up references on anyone also. Well, that's about all the time I had. It was a half-hour rant. I just wanted to try to make sure that people understand, and if you see people really riding their children, really riding their spouses or whatever on something that they're doing wrong when they're trying to have fun, you gotta let loose, because you gotta look in the mirror saying, how good am I? And if I was that good, I'd be on tour. I'd be on the PGA. And even if you're on the PGA, you can fall from glory or fall from grace, because age will take you down sooner or later. So that once great swing, or those once great moves that you had, age slows you down. Not that you can't have fun, but you have to look in the mirror saying, I'm not as great as I am, so let's give everyone else a break. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. I'll be having some guests on. Probably in the winter we'll be doing maybe Fridays or Saturdays live. And again, Taekwondo training, Taekwondo Grandmaster Bob Lemire, YouTube or Google, and you'll get all our shows, all our podcasts, and I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time, next show, have fun and train hard.